Welcome back, Bulls fans. The Chicago Bulls are your official Eastern Conference 9-10 play-in game champions, or whatever we want to call it. We have advanced with a big 109-105 victory over the Toronto Raptors up in Toronto. Nice little road game to earn ourselves a nice little, not us, I guess, the players, a nice little vacation down to Miami before they take on the Heat at 6 p.m. Central Time Friday night. For the chance to go to the actual playoffs. It was an exciting game. We'll get into all that. Obviously, we're going to start off in a moment here with our MVP of the game, potentially of the NBA season. However, Nick, what do you got on the overall game? What are your thoughts? What'd you see tonight?
Yeah, man. What a comeback. And I thought, I think we all thought we were gonna have to see, Lavine absolutely shine. Because we were thinking DeRozan was going to get doubled into obliteration, but it turns out they needed to pay attention to Lavine quite a bit because that boy was on a mission. It's like he listened to all of us, in the us media folk, that Lavine needed to have a really good game that was actually a meaningful game, because usually it's just a random game against the Pelicans in February. So, and I know he hasn't played in a lot of meaningful games, but this was it. 39 points. He's a superstar officially, as you can see here. It's official, man. It's official. So first 10 seed ever to advance. So pretty awesome. And Tony, I think like you said, I think we all know who the MVP was. One of DeMar's kids. Many kids.
Yes. They showed her name like 5 times. I missed it every time. So little DeMar.
I think it's
yeah. It was something.
I think it's
it was
DR
something
or
similar
something.
to DeMar,
I don't know. She's young. I don't even feel comfortable saying it, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. It was a cool name, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either way, I think we can all agree, and you're going to see it on Twitter. Everyone's going to talk about it, so we're going to talk about it too. DeMar DeRozan's daughter absolutely deserves at least a portion of the Bulls players' first half game checks, because boy, did they come out flat. Yeah. She was the only one who looked like she cared out there, just screaming on every single free throw. And you know what? Hey, causation and correlation, I don't remember how that saying goes, but whether it's true or not, the Raptors did miss 18 free throws. They were 18 to 36. The Bulls were 18 to 22. So they missed a heck of a lot more, 18 to be exact, free throws than we did. And we didn't have anyone screaming at us like that. So clearly, DeMar DeRozan's daughter is our official running with the Bulls, see red player of the evening. What you got, Nick?
The only bummer, man, I saw this post game, is that she will not be at the game on Friday. Daddy DeMar shut it down. So she's got to go to school because that's more important than this game, apparently. No. So she wanted to be there too. She even asked. He said she was, quote, begging to come to the game, and he shut it down on a Friday, nevertheless. It's like, why? Oh, whatever.
Yeah, that's terrible. I think, honestly, okay, here, all right, we'll get into the rest of the game in a moment here, but here's my official stay woke for everyone out there. What I think is going to happen is he's trying to get the media pressure off her. He doesn't want her to choke under the spotlight. She's never been there before. I get it. She's never been, truly in the bright lights probably like this. This is her, her one shining moment, to borrow a phrase from March Madness. So he's going to be like, oh, yeah, she's not going to be there. She's not going to be there. And then boom, front row. Miami, Jimmy Butler wouldn't have practiced for it. I know he's up all night, probably screaming anyway. Like, he's not going to have any idea what's coming for him. And they're going to miss, honestly, they'll probably miss 27 free throws if I had to guess. Miami will. So, what do you think about that, Nick? You think that's a good idea?
I do. Like, she has the chance to just take over, Riley Curry. Remember, she had a good run where she was like the talk of the town, zooming in on her every game. It just feels weird to say. They're very young, but she had the chance to take the throne, and Dad shut it down. Come on. But I respect it. Maybe she doesn't want to be in the spotlight. Clearly, she didn't have much of a problem being the center of attention. There was a tweet from Casey Johnson, our beloved beat writer for the Bulls, and he said that he could hear her all the way from the 100 level. Sick brag. Classic. media guy journal thing to say, but he's like, he was on the opposite end. So, I mean, she was under that basket. He's on the 100 level on the other side of the court. And he said he could hear, quote, plain as day. Impressive. I would probably miss too. That's very loud.
Oh yeah, she was not taking it easy on him. And I guess we'll end this little topic with, of course, yeah, hopefully, hopefully people don't really, go actually try to badger her too much and try to get interviews and whatever. This is a nice little moment, obviously, for her.
Yeah.
But internet, leave her alone if she wants to be left alone. If
Yeah.
that's what DeMar wants. This was nice. It was fun, but let's not. Yeah, hopefully they don't make it too weird. Tear her down, do something crazy. We know how the internet gets. So moving on to the game now. Nick, you mentioned it earlier. Zach Lavine is a superstar. It's not, is he a superstar? He is a superstar. He's earning his money. His knee is clearly fine. What a turn from the start of the season to now. What do you got on Zach Lavine tonight?
Dude, I mean, I just love that he did what we all thought he needed to do. It's clear that he felt the same way. And also it really ruined the Raptors game plan. I'm assuming they were just gonna suffocate DeMar all night, let Lavine do his thing, but it turns out they underestimated how much Lavine could impact the game. I mean, because they were thinking the same thing, like, he's not a proven superstar yet. Well, now it's changed. They're the ones going home back to their humble abodes in the 6, and he's the one going to Miami. So it was phenomenal, man. I love that he's got that explosiveness back. Clearly, it was tough to watch in the first half because it wasn't looking like he was going to have that game. But he turned it around and then some in the second half. So I'm happy for the guy.
You put it perfectly. You put it perfectly earlier too. He's on a mission from God. Shout out the Blues Brothers. And we are in a, we're traveling a little bit more than 108 miles with sunglasses on right now down to Miami. But either way, making the trip down there, and a couple guys we can thank for that. We'll start with, or I want to hit on Patrick Beverley. Nick, you and I were talking about this before. We kind of looked at his stat line and we were surprised. We thought he either had more points, he had more rebounds, whatever, and it was more in the second half, but his impact, you could just feel it. That's why you get play in P, baby, because that defensive rebound was arguably the most important play of the game. That totally, all of a sudden the Raptors get the ball with 40 seconds, 30 seconds left, whatever it is, and then but instead the Bulls get it side out. They get to run. I think it was like 14 seconds on the clock. I mean, that totally ruins their comeback plans.
That was a Rodman-esque play right there, dare I say.
Yep.
Obviously he only had 3 total rebounds. Rodman probably would have had 33, but the guy's 6 feet. I mean, it's amazing. Like, it just shows you, like, I think, some of us that used to play the game, the beautiful game, probably used to roll our eyes a little bit at the coach that would be like, rebounding is all about heart. I know my dad used to say that too, except not heart. He wasn't corny like that. He said it's all rebounding. It's just effort. That's all it is. It's not height, strength. Apparently my dad was right. Apparently the corny coaches were right. It really is, because he's the shortest guy on the court. I mean, it's amazing. It's just it's a heartwarming thing, right? And I wish he trolled a little bit more. I wish he, hit him with the too small after that. That would have been a perfect time. Probably more forgiving than just when he did it to LeBron, which it was awesome because he did it to LeBron, but it was just a total meaningless and like, I could have made that shot kind of thing, right? That would have been a moment. He should have at least flexed or something, but he's the man. He's the man. I mean, even when, like you said, even when the stats are low, which usually they are, his presence is felt. And similar to Caruso, right? 3 steals. I mean, the dude was an absolute menace. He was an absolute menace. He gets his hand on everything. He should. It's a shame he didn't get any votes for all defensive player. There was a little leak, and he was not on the list. No one voted for him. So free my man's. But
yeah, Absolutely. Great point about Caruso. There was a stretch where there was maybe a couple minutes left, I think is what it was, where I swear I don't even think they all went down as steals or what, because I think they were just like, I don't know. They didn't count them as turnovers, whatever the reason. It must not have, because I think he only ended up with 3 official steals on the stat sheet. But I swear he just kept coming up with every ball. They were cross-court pass, whatever it was. He just kept coming up with it. And it was, I was watching with my dad. I turned to him. I was like, this is what, like, there's people that aren't on the Bulls, or even if you were a Lakers fan, you'd probably understand it when he was playing. There's like, oh, Caruso, what does he actually do? Look at his, he's not actually, you guys are just pumping him up because, like, I don't know, because you think it's a joke or something, doing sarcastically. We're not. His effort combined with Patrick Beverley's, dare I say it, might carry us all the way to 1 win in the actual playoffs. I don't know. We might win a game against in the first round against the Bucks. Who knows? I'm not a future predictor. I know there's a word for that. I think I nailed it though. Nostradamus, perhaps. But so overall, I mean, DeMar, obviously we kind of hit on DeMar. He turned it up in the second half. He had a weird stretch in, like, I think it was the third quarter. He was sitting out at the start of the fourth. They kept zooming in on him. He was tired. He was quitting a little, and I get it. It. They were down, what was it, 19? I would have quit too. I already quit on them. If we're gonna be, cards on the table, I said GG's in the chat. Game over. Like, hey, we're gonna blow it up this offseason. Yeah. Not yet, baby. Push it off one more game at least.
Not yet. And like I said, man, win or lose, we didn't. I know you and I didn't feel too strongly either way, but of course, at the end of the day, we were seeing red. You couldn't even see in front of you, right? You had a great quote. But for the sake of competition, man, for the game, we don't have war anymore, right? Thank God, at least in this country, right? So it's like, can't be rooting for that. And morally, it's a little questionable, right? But this is the closest thing we got. Sports. This is like, it was based around war, right? I mean, it's just like, it just feels good to see competition at that level, especially in the NBA, right, where it can get a little loosey-goosey sometimes, right? And it's just especially when it's April and you're coming off the March Madness high, where you're expecting, that effort output and like just the dire just raw effort that kids are putting into it. Maybe it could be their last game ever, right? These guys know they're going to play next year and they can just go on their yacht after this game if they lose. So it's just, and so I don't blame them. Sometimes it's just not a good breeding ground for like good competition. But this was a prime example that the play-in tournament was a good idea too. Like I said, first ever 10 seed, no big deal. And it definitely hasn't only been around for 3 years, but we ignore that part. But speaking of 3, Caruso, 3 blocks, by the way. I know he had his hand in everything, like from a steal point of view, but 3 blocks, like, especially against a long team like that, I mean, phenomenal. I'm pumped.
He probably had a couple more too. There were some, the refereeing wasn't great. Thankfully we won, so we don't have to complain about it. We'll let him off the hook this time. But we had to mention it. There were some questionable calls, some questionable no calls. Pat Bev got absolutely just tossed into the second row by I think it was Pascal Siakam, and no call. But either way, we're moving on from that. It happens, that's life. We push forward, and with that, we're on to Miami. We are on to Miami.
We're on to Miami.
We'll see you again after that game as well. Hopefully, we're celebrating another victory, and we're talking about how we'll totally beat the Bucks. But we got to get there first. Eyes set on Miami. So that'll do it for this episode of Just Another Year Bulls. Thanks for tuning in. As always, everyone, like, comment, subscribe. Celebrate that big Bulls W. Get ready for the Friday night in Miami. As always, everyone, keep seeing red.